नमस्कार, म सन्तोष सुवेदी प्रकाश माध्यमिक विद्यालयमा अध्यापन गरिरहेको छु। आज म तपाईँहरूको बिचमा कक्षा 12 को कम्पलसरी इङ्ग्लिस भित्रको हेरिटेज अफ वर्ड्स भन्ने पुस्तकबाट एउटा कथाको बारेमा छलफल गर्न गइरहेको छु। अबाउट लभ एउटा स्टोरी हो, कथा हो, जसलाई एन्टन चेकबले लेखेका छन्। मलाई आशा छ यो सेसनमा गरिएको छलफलबाट कक्षा 12 का विद्यार्थीहरू जो लामो समयको अन्तरालपछि परीक्षाको अन्तिम घडीमा रहिरहेका छन्, उनीहरूले परीक्षाको दृष्टिकोणबाट तयारी गर्न मद्दत पुग्नेछ भन्ने विश्वास लिएको छु। लेट्स गो विथ स्लाइड। Introduction. Okay, Anton Chekhov. In full, Anton Pavlovich Chekhov was born in 29th January in Russia and died in 1st July in 1904 in Germany. He is a Russian playwright and master of the modern short story. He is very popular. And his story about love is a famous Russian story written by a famous story writer Anton Chekhov. In the story, Chekhov presents the difference between three love stories and tries to prove that love like that is not bound by conjugal relations. This is the central theme of the story. He views that love is true and spiritual. Happiness, unhappiness, morality, sin, virtue, social status, class, prestige, etc. have nothing to do with love. In About Love by Anton Chekhov, we have the theme of connection, honor, loss, letting go, acceptance, and love. As a story, there are some characters. The list of the characters in the story about love are Eloine, the narrator of the story, the main character of the story, or we may say protagonist. He lives in Sofiana with his father. He belongs to the middle class family. His father is a farmer. Eloine is a university graduate. He was appointed as the honorary justice of the Circuit Court of Peace. I think these points will help the students uh, to characterize, to write the characteristics of the character. And the second one is Anna Alexeyevna, a beautiful lady of 22 years. She belongs to the middle class family. The wife, Eve Lugnavich, and the mother of two children. She spiritually loves Elohim. And the next character, Luganovich, the husband of Anna, he is a man of over 40 years. Okay, there is a huge age difference between these two. And the next character is Nicanor, a hotel cook. He is a drunkard. He loves Pelagia, who is a beautiful girl. He beats Pelagia for not marrying him. And the Pelagia, a lovely hotel servant or women's staff, she loves Nicanor but is unwilling to marry him. She doesn't want to marry him or anybody else, but still love Nicanor. Violent, sensual, and expressed love. Burkin and Ivan, they are two friends from Elohim. Elohim tells them in a country of the hotel while having breakfast. So the characters are Content. The content of the story. In the story about love, Anton Chekhov defines three types of love. They are the first one, violent types of love. It is a love story about Nicanor and Pelagia, uh, between two servants, Nicanor and Pelagia. The second one is materialistic love. Alwyn loves the university girl. This love is an example of materialistic love. And the third one, he loves Anna. Alwyn loves Anna. It is, it can be known as spiritual, platonic, and unexpressed love. We also said that this is the example of the silent love story. To him, love is the source of the endurance, dissatisfaction, and irritation in life. If people fall in love, they may be think whether it is an honorable or dishonorable, sin or virtue, and what it will heed. So respect should be considered from higher without any restriction or limitation. A sensible or stupid, such reasoning makes love a mystery. These are the content of this story. Let's go with the summary. About Love is a famous Russian story written by a famous story writer Anton Chekhov. In the story, Chekhov presents the difference between three love stories and tries to prove that love, like that, is not bound by conjugal relations. He views that love is true and spiritual. Happiness, unhappiness, morality, sin, virtue, social status, class, prestige, etc. have nothing to do with love. Alwyn is the narrator in this story. He had been living as a poor farmer at Sofiano since he graduated from the university. The story begins when the narrator and his two guests, Puffkin and Ivan, were having breakfast in a country house. Alwyn told about the violent love affair between his two servants, Nicanor and Pelagia. According to the narrator, Pelagia didn't want to marry Nicanor, but she was ready to live with him. Just on the other hand, Nicanor couldn't stay with her before marriage for religious reasons. Alwyn says that love is a hindrance and a source of dissatisfaction and irritation. To justify his statement, he began his own story. Alwyn had to work hard at Sofiano to pay off his debt, as his father had spent a lot of money on his education by mortgaging the land. Though he was a landowner, Alwyn had to work hard on the farm with his servants. Many years before, he had been elected honorary justice for peace, and sometimes he had to go to the town to participate in the court session. Unexpectedly, one of his friends, Luganovich, invited him for dinner. There, he was very much attracted by the young and beautiful Anna Alexeyevna, the wife of Luganovich. In the latter days, he frequently visited her, and they spent much time together, flacking for hours and going to the theater, though they couldn't miss the company of each other. They didn't express their desires, love, and feelings. They hid feelings, fearing that it would ruin both of their lives. At last, as a result of unexpressed feelings, Anna had got mental sickness and she had to go to Crimea for treatment. Many people gathered at the railway station to say goodbye to Anna. When the train started to move, Alwyn ran to Anna with her basket, which she had forgotten. Their emotional eyes met together, and their spiritual strength couldn't stop them falling in each other's arms. They kissed each other and expressed their deep love. However, they parted forever and Alwyn returned his farmland village, being sad, and he would never meet her again in his life. The true love of Alwyn is the means of living, the moment of our memory upon relived Alwyn in his life. This is a short plot summary. Okay, let's discuss some important points to understand this story very clearly. The second paragraph of About Love is a brief account of a love affair between two servants. Is it significant that Owain is the source of this anecdote? How does this anecdote contrast with Owain's own story? Okay, let's hear. Violent love between Pelagia and Nicanor is discussed in the second paragraph. Owain told this story of them to his friends in country hotel. He becomes emotional and sentimental and happens to tell his own love stories with Anna and with the university girls. Contrast, Owen's love stories are different from violent ones. His love was platonic, spiritual, pure, and unexpressed. Though the servants have violent love, they are satisfied in their own ways, but Alwyn and Anna are dissatisfied in their lives. Servants have one type of love, whereas there is unexpressed love between intelligent people. How the account of the setting and occasion of the narrative of Alwyn affect our understanding of him. That is very important points. The storytelling setting, country hotel, grey sky outside, drenched trees with rain. It's our setting. A situation in which people cannot go outside, nothing to do, just to sit inside and listen to the stories. After the story is told, the rain stopped while telling the story. It was raining, so it is unable, it is difficult to go out. The sun came out. There was a fine view of the garden and river. The sun was shining. The rain shows Eloine's compulsion, but after the story narration, he feels freedom. He can start his life freely ahead. What is love? Why should love be individualized then? After reading this story, you may have generalized it. What is love? Why should love be individualized then? If it were Shakespeare's Romeo, love would be defined as smoke made with the fume of sigh. But in the story about love, written by Anton Chekhov, the Russians view that love is mysterious and nothing can be generalized about it. Questions about love have always remained unanswered. Love is generally poeticized or phrased and embellished, embellished or decorated with roses and nightingales. But in Russia, they say that they are quite puzzled or confused by its mystery. According to them, love should be individualized because it differs from person to person. Therefore, for some people, it is a matter of happiness and enjoyment, which for others, it can be endurance or difficulty and a source of dissatisfaction and irritation. It has been clearly portrayed in the story. How is love viewed in the story? Another question. Again, the story about love, Anton Chekhov attempts to show that love is an individual matter which depends on the person and context. On one hand, Nicanor and Pelagia love each other without being married, living together भन्छ नि यसले. And on the other, dissatisfaction is likely to take over love between Anna and her husband. Despite their marriage, a young bachelor named Eloine seems to erase Anna's dissatisfaction, but ends in failure. However, no marital status stopped them to love each other. Being married, both fall in love. No marital status stopped them. The conclusion that can be drawn from the story is that love is above everything and cannot be limited by marital relationship. What kinds of love experience are suggested by Eloine in the story? In the story about love, Anton Chekhov, the story writer, tries to show that love is not such a thing that can be limited in marital relation. Eloine, a young bachelor, and the central character of the story, is like a squirrel that rushes everywhere in vain and cannot get out of the cage. Alwyn tells his friends his own love experience. When he was in Moscow studying in university, for the first time he fell in love with a very charming girl. They were very close to each other, but eventually the love could not turn into marriage. He made a second attempt with Anna, the wife of George in court, and they were quite intimate with each other. Even this love went in vain, and Alwyn was left miserable again. In the story, Anton Chekhov talks about three kinds of love. The love between Pelagia and Nicanor, it can be known as physical, sensual, emotional, or sexual love. And the second one, the love between Alwyn and charming girl when he was studying in university. It can be known as materialistic love or love for money. And the third one, the love between Alwyn and Anna. It is spiritual, platonic love, which they had never expressed with their mouth. Let's talk about some important questions with answers. The second paragraph of about love is a brief account of violent love affair between two servants. Is it significant that Alwyn is the source of this anecdote? In the second paragraph of the story, the narrator tells the story of the violent love affair between two servants. It is important that Alwyn is the source of this story because in the story, Alwyn is not only a character but also the narrator. The whole story revolves around him and his storytelling, except slight intervention in the first and last paragraphs of the story. As he is the narrator, whatever he tells about others and about himself should be believed without any question. The contrast between the love affair of Nicanor, Pelagia, and Alwyn and Anna is clear. In the first love story, the hero and heroine belongs to a socially inferior class, whereas in the second love story, they belong to socially superior and cultivated class of people. And moreover, the love between the first couple is an ordinary and usual love between a man and woman to be materialized by marriage. But love between Anna and Alwyn is of a higher level, an unusual love which goes beyond the social limitation in matrimonial bonds. How did Alwyn define love? Alwyn defined love as mysterious thing beyond all types of social limitation in about love. Alwyn presented three love stories to define the meaning of love. The love story between Nicanor and Pelagia justified that love is possible between two many unmatchable persons having totally different life ideologies. The love story between Alwyn himself and Anna also justified love as a mysterious thing. Alwyn was a graduate and an unmarried person. Anna was married woman and mother of two children. They loved each other, but they didn't know that they loved each other. They only knew that one loved the other. The love between two distinctively different persons like Alwyn and Anna was also possible. So love is defined as a mysterious, flexible thing that is not limited to social, age, caste, religious, and class factors. Anton Chekhov tries to justify the meaning and definition of love through Alwyn as an unlimited and unrestricted thing in the world that crosses every type of boundary. विद्यार्थी भाइ बहिनीहरू, आशा छ यो भिडियोले पक्कै पनि तपाईहरूलाई परीक्षाको तयारीमा सहयोग पुर्याउनेछ। अन्य यस्तै भिडियोहरूको लागि मेरो युट्युब च्यानल सन्तोष सुवेदीलाई सब्सक्राइब गरिदिनु हुन, साथै केही सुधारका लागि कमेन्ट गर्न नबिर्सनु होला। फेरि भेटौँला, म अर्को भिडियो लिएर आउनेछु। अहिलेको लागि छुटौँ, धन्यवाद।